We've got the solar eclipse coming up, the great total solar eclipse in 2024. We've got a lunar eclipse. Talk about these and how important they are to getting everyone who might not naturally have an interest in the science, at least getting them hooked a little bit.
Well, I think there's enough out there to be hooked at all times. Any night sky. By the way, anytime I step out of a building at night, I look up. Just look up. Yeah, unlike the movie that said don't look up, you look up. Look up every time, every occasion you have. Look up. And I do it every time I come out on the street because there's something to see, something that you, maybe the aliens are coming to say hi, and you might have missed it if you're looking down at your shoes. So in the mid-month, May 15th, I think it is, the full moon out in space will pass through Earth's shadow in space. The moon orbits the Earth, and so while it's orbiting the Earth, most of the time it misses our shadow. We have this sort of cone-shaped shadow in space from the sun. Most of the time it misses, occasionally goes right smack through it. And then when that happens, we have a total lunar eclipse, which will happen on May 15th, I think is the date. And so what's good about lunar eclipses is anyone who was on the side of the Earth facing the moon will experience the lunar eclipse. So it's a highly, it's a global phenomenon when that happens. Solar eclipses are these narrow, in a solar eclipse, the new moon passes in front of the sun and the moon casts its shadow on Earth, blocking sunlight in broad daylight, right? And that's just one tiny narrow shadow that sweeps across Earth's surface as the moon orbits and as we rotate, of course. And so you have to be in the path of totality in order to see it, or at least near it to get partial phases. So people think of solar eclipses as rare, but they're not any more rare than lunar eclipses. It's just that more people get to see a lunar eclipse.
And I think that those solar eclipses, they're a lot more exciting. You see some changes with nature, with the birds.
Sorry. Of course, sorry. I should have said that. Yeah,
that's okay, no.
So let me just level with you, between two professionals here. Lunar eclipses are long and boring compared to solar eclipses. A lunar eclipse takes like 3 hours, all right? And slowly, a little bit of the moon darkens, and it kind of looks like, you know, the moon is going through phases. In fact, I think most people who don't know an eclipse is happening just think it's like a crescent moon or something, and they don't even pay attention to it. And then the moon just disappears. And so if you don't know you're in the middle of an eclipse, you don't even know to look up. And if you did look up, you wouldn't see the moon. And that takes a long time. And then it's like the other half of the moon emerging from the shadow. That's 3 hours, all right? For me, I'm sorry, I'd rather binge watch Rick and Morty, okay? But a solar eclipse, that should be on everybody's bucket list, definitely. Because broad daylight goes to darkness in a matter of seconds. The partial phases are slow, but as more and more of the sun gets covered, it gets dark and dark and dark, and then in the last few seconds, boom, it's nighttime. And you see this gorgeous corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun, and stars come out. And oh my gosh, and by the way, today you can travel, unlike hundreds of years ago. So, you know, take a boat, get on an airplane, book a hotel room in the path of totality. We can predict the future, by the way. In astrophysics, we know when and where the eclipse is going to happen. So check up the eclipse tables and make sure you do this before you die. For
and
sure.
I
by the way,
recommend.
the eclipse from 2017, which was called America's Eclipse, was legitimately called America's Eclipse. You know why?
Why is that?
It started in the Pacific Ocean, and the eclipse path moved, and then it made landfall on the West Coast. It crossed the entire United States, exited from South Carolina, might even North Carolina, of the Carolinas, went into the Atlantic Ocean, and then left Earth's surface. The only nation to be touched by that eclipse was America. It's America's eclipse.
and thank goodness
that was a mono-nation eclipse.
and we will get the chance to see one in 2024. There will be a couple of additional countries that will get the chance to see it, but that's a good thing. We like to share these amazing things. And one cool thing
totally
about,
do.
yeah, one cool thing about science is that we're always learning. What are you most excited about and what you're learning now about the universe?
So I'm going to give you a cop-out answer because it's how I actually think about it, but it's not the answer you're looking for. At any given moment, we have a set of questions that are unanswered, and you say, I got to answer these questions. I want to commit my life to doing so. But that's not how I think about it. I think about it as, what questions do we not even yet know to ask that themselves would arise only after we answer the current set of questions? Because for having done so, we now stand in a new vista, enabling us to see farther than ever before, allowing other questions to arise that were previously undreamt of. Those are the questions I think of. And I think by definition, they're unthinkable, but nonetheless, it keeps me awake at night.
I know you said it's not a valid answer, but it most certainly is. I think that counts. Dr. Tyson, thank you so much. I have enjoyed every minute of this. We appreciate you being here. It's been an honor.
Excellent. Can I add one quick thing?
Of course.
In the book, Welcome to the Universe in 3D, there's a website, welcometotheuniverse.net, which has the whole series of books with that base title. But if you click on the 3D book, as a bonus material, each of the images that has a caption, I narrate each of those captions for you. I'm there in a narration, and I use my planetarium voice.
Well, I'm going to do that tonight to fall asleep. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying your voice is just so smoothing.
So while you're looking through it, you don't have to keep looking back and forth to the caption. You just put on the headphones, and I narrate you through the entire book. It's just bonus once you get the book. Yeah.
That is awesome. Dr. Tyson, again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. This has been wonderful.
Thanks for your interest.
Hey, AccuWeather fans, if you want to see more videos like this one, check out some of our other ones right here. And if you like what you see, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more from AccuWeather.